Well, a happy March 3rd, 2021 to you guys. Hey, it's good to see y'all. Welcome to Sty Times. Welcome to Sty Times. Yeah, just another day of the week, right? Wednesday. Huh. Yeah, you know what they call Wednesday. Yeah. So when you turn 40, is that hump year? Halfway through? Oh, yeah. God, I got to think quite a ways back to hump year. Hey, looking at the chat out there, James with Chasing the Reaper showed up right away. And then Donald Morris showed up about 15 minutes ago. And Gemma Sterney Grace, great to see you, sweetie. And Everything Spicy says, hello, all, I'm going home. I bet he's happy. He's wrapping up his day. He's going home. He's going home. That I've had enough. I'm going home. Oh, and there's Get Her Done. Granny, it's great to see you, sweetheart. I hope you're doing well, girl. Hope you're doing well. The Today's topic, probably get this old boy in trouble. Probably get this old boy in trouble. Um, Bushcrafters or BS. I'm trying to hold true to the foundation of my channel, and that's the great outdoors, And my channel was never intended to be a bushcrafting channel. It was intended to be a somewhat of a generalized genre with a foundation on the outdoors because I just love the outdoors. I've always loved the outdoors. That'll never change. Oh, there's Crazy Ann. Hi there, sweetie. I loved your video on the skyline there in Norway. It was beautiful, beautiful. Oh, yeah. She put on her channel a little video of I believe that's the morning sky, but that sunrise was just beautiful. And it's things like that that get your day just there's such special moments to see a sky like that. You just yeah, yeah, helps lift up the spirits, doesn't it? But we're going to get on with this Bushcrafters or BS topic. Now, like I said, my channel, it's based on the outdoors. That's where its foundation started. It's purely outdoors. And it evolved into what it is today. And I am so happy with how it evolved. But because back several years ago, with a couple other people, I had started a wilderness skills camp called Wilderness Thriving Fundamentals, Camp WTF. Now, we taught a lot of primitive skills at that camp. We also taught how you can intertwine modern approaches to wilderness application, right? We weren't set on everything has to be primitive. No. Well, for some reason, the bushcrafters of the world, I have to give attention to someone here. Oh, there. Thank you, Eileen. You are love you too, girl. What did I tell you last stream? You don't need to do that, girl. That's you're too sweet. You're too sweet. Boy, yeah, she takes care of my sweet tooth. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome of you, Eileen. And I see Tim with Kirk Whipper Voyager Centers in the house. That's awesome. That's awesome to see you, Tim. So anyway, with my channel, I get it going, and I was doing YouTube videos on things that we provided at camp, and I showed different skills that you would learn in detail in camp, right? Lashing skills, shelter building, fire making, navigation, all kinds of primitive type skills. Well, it didn't take long. After I had maybe 25, 30 videos up, I start getting messages from people, so-called professional bushcrafters, telling me, Sty, your navigation skills really suck. You're talking about pace speeds. You're talking about, you know, finding north by using the sun, blah, 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 blah. It's all primitive stuff. None of it is, that's not good navigation. It's not modern navigation. And they would get upset with me when I'd respond with, look at the name of my school. It's Wilderness Thriving Fundamentals. It's not Wilderness Fundamentals. It's Wilderness Thriving Fundamentals. And look at our mission statement, and that's to teach people competency in primitive skills. Okay? And they'd come back and they'd go, well, the least you could do is be a good bushcrafter. At that stage of the game, I didn't know that there was anybody out there that set your qualifications to be a good bushcrafter to start with. And then I started thinking, well, who in the hell are you to tell me whether I'm a good or bad bushcrafter? Oh, but I'm a professional. I've been on TV. I've been on TV shows, survival shows, and what you're showing on your videos and stuff is such basic BS. And I said, what's BS is you calling me out on this stuff. Who the hell ever called you a professional other than yourself, right? Oh, Gemma. I love your stories and skills I learned. You're such a gentle person. I try to be, Gemma. I try to be. And I want to apologize to Gemma and everybody else out there. I have not been, lately, I have been just bombarded. It's like every minute of my stinking day, except maybe once every 2 weeks, am I free to just be able to chat and contact people personally. It's been insane, and I don't see an end to it for another couple of weeks. So please bear with me, guys. I love you, even though I can't get back at you. I love you guys. You're all awesome out there. So back to bushcrafting. So I've got all these people, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to look closer at these people. If they're that concerned about how good of a bushcrafter I am, I better look these people up and see. Maybe they're right. I'm a bad bushcrafter. Well, I started looking some of these folks up, and a couple of them I was pretty amazed with. They've got YouTube channels, but they also have huge web pages. You go to their web page, and oh my God, there's like 150 frickin' pages you can go through on their website, their own private website. And I thought, why are they even contacting me and targeting me? Give me a thumbs down on the video and go away. Because who are these people that they got so heady that they're out here going after the little guy? I think at the time I had like 125 followers is all. So I started feeling like, well, I got to up my game. So I watched dozens upon dozens upon dozens of bushcrafting videos, hoping that I would learn what they consider to be good bushcrafting. Well, I didn't find anybody doing anything I wasn't doing. And the thing is I wasn't watching them before this, before I started doing these videos. And oh, wow, welcome back there, King Babes Gaming. Welcome back. That is so awesome, man. It's great to see you. We got a new hiker in the group. That's awesome, man. Oh, and then you follow it up with that. Yeah, you're great. You're great. You're great. You're great. Yeah, he that is so awesome, man. But yeah, he because he became a new member, right? He had to throw up a bunch of emojis, which you can't see here. You can't see here, but on the YouTube side, you can see the lion, the mountain lions. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, you're great. Thank you, thank you. The hey, join Vader Gamer. It's great to see ya. Great to see ya. So anyway, here I'm teaching people how to do primitive skills in the wilderness, right? And I'm thinking I'm doing an awesome job. I didn't have any client complaints. You know, the biggest complaint I ever got from my clients was the class is too short. Well, we had 7-day class, we had a 3-day, a long weekend class, and I did these day trainings where you just come and it's a 6-hour single topic hands-on little wilderness training on a single day. And I never had anybody complain, except even the 7-dayers. Camp was too short. Camp was too short. So I thought I was doing a good job. Oh, King Babes, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know that I deserve it or not, but oh yeah, that's you're too much. Thank you. So I started getting a little disheartened that I had these big names, big people telling me that I was a bad bushcrafter. So I decided I want to look a little more into this bushcrafter thing, the bushcrafter history and that. Because actually, until I got on YouTube, I had never heard the term bushcraft. I had never heard it before, ever. Now, mind you, I was like 58 years old when I first heard the term bushcrafter. And I never paid any attention to it until I started getting these comments on my videos on YouTube when I started the camp. So all I could gather is it's something new. Well, you are a bad influencer. Cheesehead. Hey, welcome, buddy. The Cheesehead, him and I kind of see eye to eye on some of this. I mean, and he encouraged me. I got to give Cheesehead a lot of credit because, you know, he told me, he says, don't even care what the hell they got to say, you know. And that's tough to do sometimes, is not care what others, when they're being unreasonably critical, or they don't truly explain themselves, you know. King Babes, look at that super sticker. King Babes. People are going to wonder if you haven't lost your mind, pal. Thank you. But so this renown very renowned bushcrafter. He's got a huge bushcrafting school. Okay. His whole school is supposed to be everything bushcrafting. So I figured I'm going to follow this guy and I'm going to look at everything he's got, everything out there. I'm going to look at his school. I'm going to look at every video, that blah, 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 blah. Well, then I started taking a look at people's reviews and comments. I didn't much care for the fact that he had clients that went to his school. I mean, he had a ton of clients who would say, that school is the best, man. They provide everything, this, that, and oh, they teach you so much. And But then I see these comments, this one fella, and these comments miraculously disappear within days of them showing up. So you have to kind of catch those comments as they come up because they're not going to be on there long. But I saw the one comment that really caught me was it was a client that had done a 7-day camp at that bushcrafting school. And they said the trainers that this fella, he doesn't do the training. However, his videos imply that he's there doing these trainings for all these customers. But actually, he doesn't. He doesn't. He considers his bushcrafting school a school for bushcrafters to become bushcraft teachers more than it is for the clients, right? Well, so he hires all these people to be bushcraft trainers. They're going to train you, right? Well, this commenter said it was great. It was great. The trainers were very skilled. They helped a lot, but there were a little too many clients, so they couldn't give you a lot of one-on-one time. And as I read their comment, I thought, sounds like it was okay. It wasn't excellent. It was okay. Then, at the tail end of his comment, he says, the most disheartening part is when the owner, this professional bushcrafter, would show up each day in his $65,000 truck, all tricked out, drive his $65,000 truck into camp, get out with a film crew, camera crew, and he'd do a video on a topic, on a bushcrafting topic. They're at the camp, at the school, and then load back up in his $65,000 truck and go to his $500,000 home for the rest of the day. Well, that's BS. That's bushcrafting BS. Now, at my camp, I stayed with my clients. I had a base camp tent. So did this guy. This guy had a beautiful, beautiful wall tent, canvas wall tent, beautiful base camp tent. But I noticed in all of his videos, that base camp tent never changed. Nothing ever changed in there. There was never gear piled up in a corner. There was never clothes thrown across the bunk. There was never, it never changed. I started realizing it's staged. That tent is there to do videos in. That's all it's there for. He's not staying in that. Now, my base camp tent, I stayed in that base camp tent typically 7 nights a week. Once in a while, I would spend a Sunday night at the homestead, and I'd spend the whole dang night trying to upload videos on YouTube. But I would have new clients Monday morning. So I'd stay at the homestead, and that's where our parking area was for the new clients. So I'd stay at the homestead Sunday night after I sent all of my last week's clients home. So I was there for the new clients in the morning. And off we went to base camp on foot, no vehicles allowed, period. No ATVs, no motorcycles, nothing, no vehicles. And we hiked out to base camp. And I lived with the campers on site 24/7. Well, when I say 24/7, there were times I had to go into the homestead if we need resupply or we had an accident at camp or something. I might have to go into the homestead. But I didn't never stayed at the homestead. I lived in that base camp. And I was told I was a bad bushcrafter because I don't know what it is to do it bushcraft style. Well, what is a bushcraft style? I have found out that people that have bushcraft channels on YouTube, not all of them, don't get me wrong, I'm not beating up every bushcrafter out there. That's not what this is about. But there's some of them, they think they're all that. They really do. They think they're all that. And they might have 1,500 followers, but oh my God, they think they're Gillis, and I'm the best. I'm a survivalist. I am a bushcrafter. I'm the best. And they got 1,500 followers. And I'm like, okay. And I watch what they do, and it's clumsy. You can tell that they haven't learned the skill. They're just fudging their way through. But then I realize, you know what? I'm seeing the same BS that I'm seeing from this guy that's got 1.8 million subs. 1.8 million subs. He's getting 50 to 100,000 views per video within 3 days of posting. It's because he has a name. It's not because he's a good bushcrafter. Now, after the half-hour mark, I'm going to talk about some of the so-called bushcrafting things at these bushcrafting schools or on some of these bushcrafting channels that are true BS. That it's, I don't care if you call it bushcrafting, being an outdoorsman, I don't care what you call it. It's just BS. But they can promote it because they're the bushcrafting professional, right? Now, I'm a firm believer anybody can bushcraft. Anybody can bushcraft. These people say anybody can bushcraft, but then they'll qualify that and say, but only a few of us are good at it. Well, that's when the BS comes into it, is they call themselves good enough that the people that follow them start playing into it and saying, yeah, he must be good. He must be good. Look at all the followers he's got. He's got to be good to have that many followers. Or is there that many gullible people watching? I don't know. And then you have those bushcrafters that love to beat up on other bushcrafters, even though their bushcrafting is BS. I mean, and obviously BS. I mean, they're just basic, simple little bushcrafting things they do. They're not this bushcraft god, but yet they'll attack any other bushcrafting channel out there that says, you know, I tried it a different way and it seemed to work a lot better. Some of these individuals, they think they're bushcrafting gods, jump on them and say, you don't have the right to change the method. Because the minute you change the method, you're no longer a bushcrafter. We're going to talk about that in the second half hour quite a bit. Oh my gosh. Gemma, you're more professional than them, Uncle. They are doing it for show. You live it and teach people. You're awesome. Proud of you. I love you too, girl. But no, the thing is I found over the years, and that's why I loved having camp, a commercial camp, because I would tell my clients flat out, the reason you're here is not for me to teach you. The reason you're here is to learn what you can do. All I would teach is a basic method. I'd show them what the end product is if you do a few things, and then I'd let them go for it. Get your hands dirty, and if the way I showed you doesn't work for you, do whatever you need to do to alter that method to come up with the end product. So if you're lighting a fire, you don't have to. If I'm showing you how to use a bow drill and you keep trying it the way I do, and you say, that it just ain't working, man. I've been working on it for hours. I can't get that thing. I can't get fire started. Well, what do you think you could do to improve that? Well, I think it's the wrong hearth board. I think I should try a different wood. Well, go for it. You're supposed to learn this, I get it started using that hearth board. But if that hearth board doesn't work for you, try something different. And off they go, and they find the right piece of wood that they want to use, and they give it a try, and it's better. It's not perfect, but it's better. So they try a different piece, and then all of a sudden they're going, Sty, get over here, get over here. I got the fire going. I figured it out. Well, guess what? I didn't teach you to figure it out. You figured it out. I just gave you the idea and a basic method to get it to the end product, and you took it there. And that was all. That was all I ever did, was encourage people with an idea and tell them, make it your own. Make it your own. That's bushcrafting. That's bushcrafting. Bushcrafting is going out in the bush and being crafty, not going out in the bush and copying somebody off of YouTube. Plain old Chuck says, I can't bushcraft. I can't cook. I can't fish. But that doesn't mean I won't. Damn right. That's right. That's right. Well, that's the very first time I've ever whittled a spoon. This is many years ago. First time I ever whittled a spoon. Finally, I got one whittled out that was really a nice spoon. Boy, I would love eating with it. And a buddy of mine stopped and said, what do you got going there, Sty? I said, oh, I just finished my spoon. Check it out. He goes, God, that's a nice spoon. You're going to enjoy eating with that. I said, yeah, I finally got it done. I said, but look, I held my hands up, and I had bandages on every stinking finger and thumb. My hands hurt so bad. I cut myself so many times trying to whittle that damn spoon. I said, now if I could only hold it and use it. But I did it. I got a nice spoon out of the deal. I might not have been good at whittling spoons, but that didn't stop me from doing it. That's the mentality a person needs if they want to bushcraft. Dr. Smith. Oh, it's an outdoor thing. I thought you were talking about something else. Oh, no, it's an outdoor thing today. Hey, Metal Music Maniac. Hey, 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 hey. It's great to see you guys. Yeah, it's an outdoor thing today, Dr. Smith. The bushcrafting is outdoorsy. So it's at the half-hour mark. I have to run this. I have to give a shout out to all my great members. This only takes a little over a minute, about a minute and a half, and we'll get right back to the topic. All the new members, you'll show up for tomorrow night's around the campfire on this little video. If I can, there it is. Yeah. Awesome people. Awesome people. Those members, they keep this channel going, boy, they keep it alive. The I got to give a quick little shout out. I'm not going into a lot of detail, but my oldest boy, Running Water, many of you know him. Yesterday, him and we spent the majority of the day together yesterday. He's home from on the road. He's over the road truck driver. And he does too much for his old man. But he says, when you die, I get everything back anyway. So, yeah, I'll do whatever I want for you. Well, okay. I guess that works. But he gave me a tote bag yesterday. And he says, that's full of goodies for you. All kinds of huckleberry stuff. Well, I'm going to show that stuff off tomorrow night around the campfire. Yeah, there's 5, 6 different huckleberry items in there that are just to die for. I thought, well, man, that is so cool. And I told him, I said, he asked if I wanted some of that stuff. I said, sure. I don't care what it costs. I love my huckleberries. I'll pay for it. Yeah, no problem. Oh, no. He says, that's my treat. You get it. Pretty awesome, right? And he says, oh, and by the way, in that tote bag is GoPro 7, all the accessories, blah, 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 and this and that. And that. I went over, picked that tote bag up, and I said, my God, that thing weighs about 30 pounds. He goes, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. And I'm heading for the door, and he goes, you wouldn't want a camouflage backpack, would you? I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I got this awesome backpack. And he says, but I'm never going to get use out of it. It's brand new. It's still got tags on it. And he comes walking to the door with it. And I said, my God, that's a sweet backpack. It's got all these, it's got attached pouches, 3 attached pouches. It's got onboard pouches, external pouches. It's got the main bag, and then it's got a smaller, medium-sized compartment. I don't know how many liter it is, but it's definitely, it would be good for me. I could do a week long with that pack, easy. Beautiful pack. He says, I just thought, well, I'm not going to use that pack, so you could have it. And he says, here, drop all those other things in that pack. So I took that tote, and that big dang tote fit right in that pack. And he goes, oh, and before you go, you want some Girl Scout cookies? I bought 2 cases. And I go, jeez. So yeah, I got the caramel ones, and I got the peanut butter ones, and I got the Thin Mints. And I come home with a haul. I'm telling you. So I was feeling pretty good when I got home last night. It was, yeah. So, yeah, I'll show the backpack off tomorrow night. They're a joint vader. It's a nice pack. It's not high end or anything, but it'll definitely serve the purpose. At my age, I'll never wear it out. Hey, Nicholas Green, it is awesome seeing you, buddy. Awesome. Yeah, don't OD on the cookies. I had 2 of each last night because my blood sugars were fairly low, so I got away with it. I managed to have 2 of each last night. I won't have 2 of each tonight. I might have 1 of each. But back to bushcrafters or BS. Now here's the BS part of bushcrafting that really bothers me is first of all, now certain bushcrafters believe they have the right and the privilege to tell the rest of the world what is and what is not bushcrafting. Okay. Now, I saw one, a big name bushcrafter, big name guy. And he says all the time that everything he does is bushcrafting. It's all the best. It's all true bushcrafting, blah, blah, blah. And that's all it is blah, blah, blah. Because one of the first things he does is tell you, I'm going to show you how to build a bushcrafting emergency shelter. And what does he use? He uses commercial paracord. He uses a commercial tarp. Now get this. This is just one of my, if you got the money, do what you want. But to be realistic, do you have to have a $300 to $800 bushcraft, handmade bushcraft knife to be a bushcrafter? And is a folding camp saw, especially a $70 silky saw, bushcrafting? Is that a bushcraft tool? If bushcrafting is all primitive skills, it seems like the tools are a little overrated for what they're doing. Well, no, you have a 3,000 knife. Yeah, right. I buy a $3,000 knife. I'd sell the knife and go camping and pay for my groceries for 3 months, 5 months. Oh no, $3,000. That's a year. I could buy groceries. But see, and that's it. Donald Morris is saying, he still loves going to camp and stuff, but he's not so into the bushcrafting anymore because there's too much BS, Well, and that's it. Is I tell people you can pull into a campsite with a $250,000 RV, and if you go sit out around your fire ring and you walk out in the woods and you find yourself a nice whittling stick and you sit down and you spend the next 4 hours whittling something, you're a bushcrafter. I don't care what these bushcrafters have to say about it. All of these professional bushcrafters need to back off because they're starting to sound like they're full of BS. Okay, now this one I was talking about, big name. He's going to show you how to build in an emergency bushcraft shelter with a tarp and paracord, with his super high-end knife and his silky camp saw. And he insisted, and I watched his video about 10 times and realized I got to quit watching it because I've become so critical about what he has to say. He said if you go to his bushcrafting school, you will, before you leave, be able to put up one of these shelters within 5 minutes total. Okay, so he shows his class, supposedly his class. Then I find out he doesn't actually do the training. He said he's got trainers that do that. But he shows them how you put this shelter up in 5 minutes. He takes that silky saw and he runs over to the edge of the woods and he cuts a bunch of little saplings that are about maybe an inch in diameter. And he cuts a bunch of sticks out of those couple of saplings that are about 10 inches, 10 to 12 inches long. Whips out that expensive bushcraft knife and puts a point on each one of them. Okay, so he made 4 of those, right? Throws those on the ground. He takes his paracord and he stretches it between 2 trees, ties it off, throws the tarp over it, and he stakes the 4 corners out. And he says, "There you go." And he checks the time and he goes, "I did it in less than 4 minutes. You will be able to do that yourself before you leave this camp." And he says, "And why are you going to do this until you can be less than 5 minutes?" He says, "Because your life could depend on it." I burst out freaking laughing. I burst out laughing. First of all, bushcrafting has nothing to do with the whole survival thing, other than some of your bushcrafting skills might come in handy in a survival situation. But bushcrafting isn't survival. It's crafting items you can use while in the outdoors. There's nobody. I want someone to prove, don't just say it, prove to me where if a person hadn't gotten that shelter within 5 minutes, they would have died. So, in other words, if the guy it took him 8 minutes to get his shelter up and it killed him. It took him 11 minutes to get his shelter up, it killed him. That's BS. That's bushcrafting BS. Quit telling people that if you don't do this my way, it's going to be critical. You're going to suffer. You're going to die. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of that kind of bushcrafting BS. Because that's all it is. Same with fire starting. If you can't start a fire 5 different ways, you're not going to make it. You're going to find out you're going to die. That's bushcrafting bullshit. I'm so tired of bushcrafters that portray a skill as the only life-saving thing in your whole kit. Because it's BS. It's BS is all it is. I could start a fire with a cigarette lighter, works like $1 million. Props. This is my favorite fire starter right here. Is a barbecue lighter, man. They fit in your backpack. They're light as a feather, but they're so nice for starting campfires, man. Yeah. Favorite. But I ain't no damn bushcrafter, right? Because a bushcrafter would tell me, "Sty, that's BS." Well, I went out and I hand gathered all of my tinder, my kindling, firewood, and all I did was use that to get it going. But everything else I did in a crafty way. I bushcraft everything except I use that. Well, then you're not a bushcrafter. You're a bad bushcrafter. You're terrible, Sty. That's BS. I could use a lighter. I can use matches. I can use a flint and steel. I can use a ferro rod. I can use a hand drill, and I can use a bow drill. But in any given situation, a lot of those wouldn't work. Some of them that are the most sure are the lighter and the ferro rod. Those are the two most reliable ways of starting a fire. But they're not foolproof either. So if you're going to go out there and say you got to do it the bushcrafting way, you got to use a bow drill. You got to use flint and steel. Well, I'm sorry. These kind of bushcrafters that think everything they do has to be primitive are doing it under controlled conditions. Primitive methods are not always reliable. And so they just need to understand that they're selling people a bill of goods when they're telling them how to be bushcrafters. They're just selling them a bill of goods. And they don't realize everything they do out there that's true bushcrafting, where all you're using maybe is a knife. Even if you're being that modern to use a steel knife, you're not using a flint knife, a flint blade. You're using a steel knife. Anything that you can use that knife to make out of natural materials outside, and you say, I came up with a new way of doing this, I guarantee you did not. That's BS in itself. I tell people, this is the way I do it. I never tell them I came up with a new way. There is no new way in true primitive bushcrafting. They've been primitive bushcrafting for the last 10,000 frickin' years. You don't think somebody came up with your frickin' idea by now? Don't sell us BS. Humble yourself a little bit and accept the fact that, boy, I wish I had heard that somebody had done it this way before, so I didn't have to come up with that method on my own. But I guarantee you, there's nothing new that you and a knife are going to create in the world of bushcrafting. But oh boy, the professional bushcrafters, they put videos up all the time about new. This is a new way, a new bushcrafting skill. That's BS. They've been doing it for hundreds and thousands of years. You don't think they came up with that before? They just didn't have YouTube to show it off. So I just wish that the there's bushcrafters, I follow them close because they are good. They are sharp people, and they've got awesome skills, great skills, but they're humble about it, and they just go, I've never done it this way before, and I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to do a video of it, and they do it, and they show their successes and fails, and then at the end they go, I feel good about myself. I was able to accomplish that. They don't rub it in your nose and say, see how good I am? Because no, none of us are all that. And I don't know. I guess that this whole bushcrafting thing is what they've done is they segregated people's love for the outdoors. Now you have the outdoorsmen. Nowadays, they classify outdoorsmen as those who hunt and fish. They're outdoorsmen. Okay. Then you've got hikers, bikers, skiers. That's a whole class of their own. Then you've got campers, glampers. You've got boondockers. Then you've got survivalists. You've got preppers. And you've got bushcrafters. All separate categories. When I was growing up, any one of those that I mentioned, those were outdoorsmen and women. You were an outdoors person if you did any of the above. Now it's all been segregated into the separate little categories. And people took advantage and said, and I'm a professional at that one thing. Yep. There's a lot of people out there that are really good at a lot of things, but they're not great at anything, you know. But they don't realize that, you know. There's nothing wrong with just being good at a lot of things. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be the best of anything, especially if you're going to be the best by being the worst person you can be, and that's by putting others down and telling them you're not good at that. You're not a good bushcrafter. You should give it up. I say, no. Sit down with this stick and this pocket knife I got and start whittling away. And just, while you're doing it, take in the outdoors and try not to cut all your fingers off. Well, why should I do that? Well, it's bushcrafting. Why not? Oh, but that's not what they say on YouTube. Well, then maybe it's time to quit watching YouTube, right? Hey, Alexander, good to see you. Old Country Farming Home and Gardeners Guild. It's great to see you. Things are starting to shape up in life. That's cool. That's great to see. Gemma's saying nobody is professional. People tell me I'm a professional, but no, I am still learning about my autism. Absolutely. I'm 64 years old, and the only reason I know everything at 64 is because I looked it up in the dictionary and I read the whole definition. So I know everything. I know everything quite well. But that's the only way I know everything. Yeah, I'm still an open book. I mean, there's a lot to write in my book yet. There's something to learn all the time. Nobody is all that. In fact, one of the Sty Times shows down the road is, I believe, is titled "I'm Not All That." Yeah. Granny's laughing. You know, life is tough. Life is tough enough, but that I got to give you this example. I followed this gal for a while on YouTube, and I felt bad because it was after we had closed our camp. If our camp would have still been open, I would have contacted her and told her, you come to camp and I'm going to give you a full week at camp. It's over $1,000. I would have told her, you come to camp, I'm going to give you the whole week free of charge. I'll have you help me out, do a few camp chores or something, just so I can tell people, no, she earned her way through the week. But she could not afford to go to one of these bushcrafting camps. And she was messaging me and saying that. And she said, and how much would your camp have cost? And I told her, I said, my camp we had set fees. But we had a disclosure kind of thing on my webpage that said, if you are financially unable to come to camp, please contact us and we'll see what we can do. And I probably had 6 or 8 people that actually did. And they would tell me their circumstances, what their income is, family size, things of that nature. So I could say, well, yeah, obviously you can't afford to be going to a camp like this. And we give them a discount so they could attend camp, because I didn't want it to be where, yeah, if you can't swing $1,000 a week, people that got money aren't the only people that should be able to go to learn something. I just didn't like that, and it didn't hurt our bottom line. We made good money. Yeah. But this gal, I watched her YouTube channel. She wanted to be a bushcrafter. And I mean, she was passionate about it. But she didn't know anybody personally that knew how to do any bushcrafting skills. She didn't live near a forest anywhere. All she had was her backyard. And here she is doing these videos on fire starting, all the methods of fire starting, and how to prep your fires and stuff. And I watched all her videos, and she was doing other things, whittling, carving things, and she was just doing a lot of different bush crafting projects right in her own backyard. And she's getting all of her material around town. She's wandering around town, sees a branch laying on the ground, she grab it, drag it home, and that's firewood, man. I'm going to use that. But I watched her videos, and that's when I realized about 60%, that's 6 out of 10 videos, she failed in what she was attempting to do. And I contacted her, and I gave her a couple of little pointers and said, this might help. I didn't tell her this is your answer. No, this might help. And she applied some of the suggestions and was successful. And she would message me just so proud of herself, and she'd say, you got to see my next video. I succeeded. I did it. And I asked her, I said, are you watching the Bushcrafters on YouTube to learn your skills? And she goes, yep. And she says, but not so much anymore. And I said, why is that? And she said, they make it look so easy and they get it done so simply. She said, I wish I could watch somebody show me just the method and then coach me on changing that until it worked. I said, that's exactly what our camp did. We showed you a method, and then we'd modify it to each person as necessary. And she said, well, that's where I took your advice on a couple of things, and it worked out. It worked out because I kind of made it my own. I said, that's what being crafty is making it your own. And with that, there's no BS. There's no BS. So there you go, guys. That's Bushcrafters or BS. So I tell you what, call me a bushcrafter, don't call me a bushcrafter, doesn't matter. Because if qualifications come with it and it's an unqualified person setting them, sorry, I'd rather not be a bushcrafter than just call me an old outdoorsman. So there you go. That was the topic for today. Now we have a fun topic on Friday. You watch tail end, you get the title to that topic, and you'll probably want to show up for that one. Until then, hey, around the campfire tomorrow night, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Love you all. You all take very good care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time on Sty Times.